She was a woman who had it all: a loving husband, grateful children, a cozy home, stability, and the respect of those around her. Everything millions dream of. But inside her, a silence was growing, an expanding emptiness that neither affection, recognition, nor years of marriage could fill. Until one day, she returned a gaze that lingered a little longer than usual, and that single moment, almost imperceptible, began to unravel an entire universe, carefully built, tenderly preserved, seemingly unshakable. What began as a spark of desire turned into a chain reaction: secret meetings, lies skillfully woven into everyday life, all for the sake of feeling alive again. But every step toward freedom came at a cost. Love, trust, reputation, family, everything was on the brink of vanishing. One wrong choice, one passion, and consequences that couldn't be hidden from, even in the darkest corners of the soul. Then came the day when the doors started closing. The house stopped feeling like home. Her husband was no longer a pillar of strength. Her children, no longer allies. All that remained was the truth. And now, she's left with one question. Is it possible to reclaim even a fragment of what was lost, when all that's left are the shattered pieces of trust and the shadow of a former life? Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as every like truly inspires me. Please tell me which city and country you watched this video from. Now, let's get started. What is this emptiness I carry inside? I have a husband who, by all accounts, is extraordinary. He cherishes me deeply, with unwavering devotion. And yes, my love for him is real. It's strong and has stood the test of many years. He is the anchor of our family, steady, dependable, and always present. Our daughters absolutely adore him. He's gentle, generous, and the kind of man everyone turns to when something needs fixing, especially anything with wires or screens. The neighbors treat him like a community handyman. He's never given me a reason to doubt his loyalty. He's not the sort to flirt or stray. In the bedroom, Daniel goes out of his way to make sure I'm fulfilled. If I don't reach the peak, he takes it personally. Compared to the men before him, he stands out, hands down the best I've known. But lately, I've come to a realization. My views on passion and desire are grounded in memories from decades ago. For most of our marriage, I never truly considered being with anyone else, until Ryan appeared. As I approached 45 and watched our kids inch toward independence, a new longing crept in. I started wanting confirmation from someone who wasn't Daniel, that I was still attractive, still someone to be desired. Daniel often tells me that I've grown even more beautiful with age, but my reflection paints a different picture. My breasts have lost their youthful perk. Fine lines are beginning to sketch themselves across my face. I find myself retouching my hair to chase away the grays more frequently. That curvy, tight backside I used to flaunt with pride, it's beginning to lose its shape. I can still command attention when I dress just right and put on a bit of glam. But for how much longer? More and more my imagination wandered. What would it feel like to be craved by another man? I began to quietly fantasize about meeting someone who didn't know my history, who saw me with fresh eyes. Even in intimate moments with Daniel, I'd catch my thoughts drifting toward movie stars, younger men at work, or that intriguing new employee who lit something inside me. I slowly revamped my wardrobe: skirts with daring hems, push-up bras, blouses that revealed just a hint more. The change didn't go unnoticed. People commented, and Ryan, always a harmless flirt, suddenly became magnetic. He had joked around before, but I'd never thought much of it. That changed one day when I pushed the boundary a little too far. Something in me was feeling bold, mischievous. When we found ourselves alone, I flirted. Not playfully, but suggestively. At first, I thought I was just teasing. But Ryan didn't treat it as a game. He saw right through the mask I wore. Without a word, he locked my office door. Everything I'd buried inside came rushing to the surface. I didn't pause. I didn't resist. Desire took control. We tore at each other's clothes. I shoved everything off my desk. It was wild, frenzied, over in a blur. Then came the silence. Somehow, we went unnoticed. We threw our clothes back on. He left. I remained, stunned, trying to restore order to the room and to myself. I washed off my makeup, sprayed to get rid of the smell of intimacy that hung in the air, and tried to calm my racing heart. I was trembling, not from fear, but from excitement. It took almost an hour before I felt collected enough to get back to work. What I thought was a one-off quickly turned into something more. We both wanted to try something else. Well aware of the danger, we planned a second meeting, this time with more caution. Once again, we managed to escape detection. But stolen moments behind closed doors stopped feeling like enough. Ryan proposed something daring, 2 weeks away on a cruise, just the two of us, in a place where no one knew our names. I wrestled with the idea, trying to decide how to justify such a trip to Daniel. Eventually, I crafted a semi-truth. I needed space, time alone to reconnect with who I was before I became just wife and mom. I'd pitch it as a soul-searching retreat, to think, to rediscover, to remember the vibrant woman I once was. I'd suggest Daniel take the same chance to do whatever he needed. After 2 decades of monogamy, maybe he'd appreciate the gesture. But honestly, I don't think Daniel would seek out another woman. He's too loyal, too rooted. He might sulk a bit, wait patiently for my return, and I'd swear to never leave again. He's the kind of man who forgives more than most would, because he values our life together, our children, and the future we planned. And he knows a divorce would cost him dearly, emotionally and financially. That's why I don't believe he'll walk away. To me, this is a personal awakening, a kind of emotional pilgrimage. I fully intend to come back to him, renewed, whole, and ready to pour my love into him again. I'll make it up to him in every way I can. Hopefully, 2 weeks of uninhibited freedom will sate my craving for novelty and help me bring closure to whatever this is with Ryan, at least for now. But if that isn't enough, then we'll need a new strategy. I'll have to distance myself from Ryan for a while, shift my focus back to Daniel, back to our family. I'm not about to throw away my marriage, my children, or the future I've built with Daniel. We'll need to tread carefully. All I need now is the right moment, a quiet time, when Daniel is relaxed and open, to tell him what I've planned. That evening, Luna and I made love, if you could call it that. Something about the way it unfolded felt off. She said all the right things, made all the usual sounds, but it lacked sincerity. Her climax seemed like a performance, barely believable. Still, she managed to bring me to the finish line. That, it seemed, was her only real goal. We lay there afterward, catching our breath. That's when she finally said the thing I knew was coming. "Daniel, you know I love you, right?" And there it was. I'd sensed this moment approaching for weeks. Thankfully, I was ready. I turned toward her, keeping my expression soft, and delivered the response I knew she needed. "Of course I do, sweetheart. And I know you love me too. Don't you?" "Of course, darling. If there were ever something truly important to me, you'd be there for me, wouldn't you?" "Of course. Just tell me. What is it?" As if it wasn't already clear. "What I'm asking for is everything. My sense of self, my purpose, my role as a wife and a mother. It all feels like it needs reevaluation. And the only way I can honestly begin that process is to step away for a bit. Just a temporary break from being a wife and a mother. Maybe even some distance from me would be healthy for all of you. I believe I'll return with clarity, with energy, and with a renewed commitment to this family. I have this deep longing to find myself again." "Hold on. What are you doing?" I moved down the hallway, calling out toward the bedrooms. "Girls, it's time. Get your things together and meet me in the kitchen." "We're already up, Dad. Be right there. Daniel? What's going on? Why are the girls coming down with their bags? There's no need to unpack everything just yet. You and I still have a lot to discuss. We'll have time for that later. But Daniel, they're part of this too. This family you're saying you want to rebuild. They're not little kids anymore. They deserve to know what's happening. All of us need to sit down, talk this through, and decide what comes next, as a unit. Even though Luna had asked for privacy, I went into the kitchen and poured myself a cup of strong, aromatic coffee. I didn't offer her any. I could see the confidence starting to slip from her face. Daniel, please, you're making this out to be something it's not. You want space? Fine. Go ahead. Run off with Ryan. We all know what's been happening. Her expression drained of color. Ryan? Why are you even bringing him into this? He's just someone I work with. I'm trying to sort things out. You mean sort out how to sleep with him without sneaking around? Keep your options open between him and me while leaving the girls stuck in the middle? Yeah, we're aware. You're aware? What are you accusing me of? All I said was I needed a little space, a temporary break from the pressure of being a wife and a mother. Well, here's your space. It's called divorce. Not a test run, not some extended vacation from your responsibilities. It's final. Daniel, be serious. This is an extreme reaction. I never said anything about leaving permanently, just until the end of September. Girls, why are your bags packed? Girls, I'm so sorry, she added in a rush. I couldn't wait much longer. Daniel, please, talk to them for a second while I go grab a few of my things. I turned and started up the stairs, but I could still hear voices drifting up from the kitchen. Girls, Luna's voice was soft, almost pleading. Your father's misunderstanding what I meant. Amelia was quick to reply. Then tell the truth, Mom. We've known for a while what's really been happening with you and your boyfriend. Luna tried to deflect. I don't know what you're talking about. Ella jumped in. We're talking about those lunch meetings you always had on Wednesdays. At first they were innocent. Then they became quick bites. Now it's suddenly a 2-week cruise with Dodger Ryan. Luna's face was frozen in disbelief. That's not true. You don't have any evidence. I haven't crossed any lines. Ryan's just someone I occasionally meet for lunch. Amelia stepped forward. Is that so? The first time you went to his executive suite for your so-called lunch, your office called the house looking for you. You were gone way longer than an hour. Dad had no idea where you were. And later that evening when he came to pick you up, you claimed you were with your boss. That wasn't a lie. I was with Mr. Archer. The secretary must have made a mistake. She's not exactly dependable. Oh, really? Amelia replied. And when exactly did Ryan become your boss at the executive suite in that hotel? That's the point where Dad brought in a private investigator, Ella added. We've seen the footage. We've seen the photos. It's true, Amelia said flatly. And for the record, he's not even attractive, not next to Dad. You became an unfaithful wife in your 40s. You don't speak to your mother like that, Luna snapped. And how could you do what you did to us? Amelia shot back. How could you choose that over being the mom we needed? Defensive now, Luna lashed out. If your father had his suspicions, he should have confronted me. He should have stopped me. Clearly, it didn't bother him enough. I think it was Amelia who replied, Mom, that ring on your finger means Dad shouldn't have to stop you. It means you swore, before all of us, to forsake every other person. Dad said even if he'd stopped you this time, it wouldn't have mattered. Next time you'd just get better at hiding it. Well, Luna muttered, he should have said something. If it hurt him that much, he should have told me. This only confirms how little it matters to him whether someone else gives me a bit of innocent attention. I can't wrap my head around why he suddenly turned so territorial. And no, Mom, he didn't say a word to you, because he was stalling. His legal and financial advisors were hard at work making sure you wouldn't be able to dig your claws into his assets during what he assumed would be a routine separation. He wanted to make absolutely sure that neither money nor the fear of losing it would sway his choice about staying in the relationship. A few weeks later, he brought us all together and laid everything out. Then he played a video. What we saw and heard in that footage made our stomachs churn. Ella and I immediately assured him he had our full support. The priest explained that the current divorce system tends to lean in favor of the wife, even in cases where she's the one who's broken the marriage vows. Like I said, his attorney and accountant had been subtly working to cut back your spending for some time. I'd be willing to bet you didn't notice that. Thanks to all this, Ella's and my college funds are now completely protected. Shocking, isn't it? I imagine it cost him a fortune. Where'd he get that kind of cash? Ah, now I get it. He knew I'd never ask him to touch our college money. That's icy, heartless, really. And you're probably convinced that Ella and I conspired with Dad to betray you. But that's not what happened. No, Mom. You and your new flame schemed behind our backs. Whether you convinced yourselves your fling was harmless, or you purposely sabotaged this family while cozying up to your boyfriend and pocketing a chunk of Dad's cash, that's on you. We were simply trying to shield ourselves, and trust me, that wasn't a small task. Ella cracked a joke, and we both laughed. Small woman, colossal disaster. Okay, girls, I said as I came down the stairs, bags in hand. Luna looked like she'd seen a ghost. Daniel, can't we just sit down and talk? Please. I know I screwed up. I don't want us to break up. I never wanted a divorce. I'll call Ryan right now and end it. I'll cut all ties, I swear. I never meant to leave you or run off with him forever. Oh, honey, that ship's long gone, I replied. And speaking of ships, I hear you and Ryan already booked a 2-week cruise. My advice? Enjoy it while you can, because once you're back, things are going to get a whole lot harder. What do you mean? Well, first of all, you'll be handling everything around here on your own. The girls and I are moving out. We've got a new place lined up. Dad! Did we get the one with the hot tub? Please tell me we did. As of 2 days ago, it was still available, I told them. We might have to crash in a hotel for a bit, but it looks like it'll be ours soon enough. The girls squealed in delight. And second, I added, you won't be enjoying this house alone for long. Ryan's going to need somewhere to stay. According to Molly, his current residence won't be his much longer. Wait, Molly? You talked to Ryan's wife? Yep. She's completely unfazed by your little vacation. But here's the twist. Ryan wasn't exactly truthful with her. He claimed he was headed to California for a professional internship. But I thought their divorce was almost final. Interesting you bring that up. When I met Molly nearly 2 months ago, she hadn't heard a word about any divorce proceedings. She's been quietly waiting for you two to go public so she could take action. I gave her a quick call just now while I was upstairs. Sounds like Ryan's being kicked out as we speak. She mentioned her older brother was coming over to help handle the garbage. He told me she was okay with it, that she agreed to the divorce and didn't care that we were taking this trip. He also told you he had a 2-week internship, right? Well, about a week ago, Molly checked in with his boss, Mr. Archer. You know, your boss too? Oh God. Exactly. Which brings me to the third thing. When you two return from your romantic getaway, neither of you will be going back to work. Your employer was just waiting for my go-ahead. He can't do that. We're valuable employees. You're workers who broke company policy by having a personal affair during business hours. Molly and I had enough evidence to make a legal case, and your boss was more than happy to dodge a lawsuit by firing you both and hiring replacements. This isn't how any of this was supposed to turn out, Luna cried. No, it's not. You were supposed to honor your vows, to your husband, to your kids. We were meant to grow old side by side, retire in peace, and spoil our grandkids together someday. Instead, you threw it all away for a fling, and now you're left with less money, no family, and a reputation that's about to take a serious hit. Daniel, I can't believe you're doing this. I thought you loved me. What else are you planning to do to hurt me? Glad you brought that up. If you try to drag out this divorce, I'll be sending a very curated compilation of your little escapades with Ryan to your parents, your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, and maybe even a few less than reputable websites. Ryan's so-called charm wasn't exactly winning him any admirers. Let's be honest, it just wasn't enough. Daniel, believe me when I say this, I always came back. I just needed a breather, some time to clear my head and be alone. Give it a few more weeks, and everything would have settled back into place. But now, you're treating me like I've committed some unforgivable sin. After all we've endured together? Doesn't our marriage buy me even a little compassion? I thought I earned a bit of grace, maybe even a chance to make things right. Or maybe not. You already had your chances, again and again. You just kept choosing Ryan over being present for your family. You ask what this marriage meant to me? Well, 3 months ago, it meant the world. But that's when it became clear. You didn't care about our relationship anymore. Not like you once did. And our kids? They weren't even a priority. Luna, what you did left a mark. It broke something in me. I was in such a dark place that, if not for our daughters, I might have done something irreversible. I thought about pretending, playing the part, acting like things were okay. But then I asked myself, what kind of message would that send to our girls? I decided instead to teach them, through my choices, how to demand respect. I almost went through with a standard divorce filing, but the idea of losing time with our kids was too much. When my attorney warned me that your betrayal didn't guarantee I'd keep custody, I got focused. I was going to make sure you and Ryan paid for what you did. And honestly, I think we've done a decent job of that. Now listen, Luna. You don't get to just take the kids. I'm their mother too. And if you try to make a move, the court will see it as abduction. Don't test me, I mean it. Maybe you're not entirely wrong. But my attorney and I agreed to hold off on legal steps until Ella is old enough to decide where she wants to live. Amelia already signed a sworn declaration. Sure, you could try to keep Ella by force, but that's going to blow up in your face. Isn't that right, Mom? You remember me, stubborn, reckless, always pushing back. Picture me skipping school, dabbling in bad decisions, spiraling just to prove a point. And if that doesn't shake things up, I'll say Ryan's been inappropriate. With your blessing, of course. So yeah, Luna, we're not bluffing. What about you? This isn't how I imagined things unfolding. I figured you'd be shaken by the separation, but that eventually you'd let me come back, like some prodigal husband. No real fallout, no deep scars. I never intended for this to end in divorce. I just wanted you to realize that my brief escape came at too steep a price. But now, I don't even know what's left to salvage. That's on you. Maybe you should start planning how to support yourself without a consistent paycheck. Sell the house. Take your half. If you're careful, it'll stretch until you find work. Luna. As Daniel and the girls walked out, the phone rang. Probably Ryan, looking for a bed and a warm place to crash. Tell him not to touch any of my stuff. Well, except for you. They left before I could say anything else. Hello? Luna, we're screwed. They just left. Damn it, this wasn't how you said it'd go. I should have known better than to believe your nonsense. Hey, you didn't exactly resist. You jumped me in your office. Sure, I was into it, but you were the one throwing sparks. What's the point of blaming each other now? We need to figure out how to protect our jobs, and maybe our marriages. Can I come over? Molly threw me out. I can't afford a hotel. I guess it's all falling apart now, but I need somewhere to stay tonight. Try to get some rest. Tomorrow, we'll need to start damage control at the office. Can you come get me? I don't have my keys, and I'm not dealing with Molly again tonight. That night, when it all came crashing down, was the last time we were all under the same roof. Before the court date even came around, Luna vanished. She sold the house almost overnight, took her share of the money, wiped out our joint accounts, probably just to spite me. I didn't lose sleep over it. Most of the real assets were already safely tucked away in the girls' college fund. My share of the house netted about 20 grand. We'd taken out a home equity loan years ago to build a deck and patio, so the final value wasn't stellar. I used my portion to rebuild the emergency savings I'd drained for tuition. With my job and no alimony on the table, I was doing well enough. In the end, Luna's choices pushed me to delay filing for divorce for a year, so I could cite abandonment. That way, she couldn't reappear later asking for money or custody. I had no interest in a reunion. Ryan, surprisingly, didn't bail. Word is, he found some low-paying gig and is living modestly, on his own. Molly? She's engaged to some divorced neighbor, but keeping it slow. Who can blame her? Once burned. I've had to bite my tongue more times than I can count. She came out ahead, and maybe she earned that. Things between me and the girls have stabilized. They've moved on with their lives. Amelia's on track to graduate next year. Ella might finish in just 3, though she's also seriously considering joining the Marines. They stay in contact with their mom on Facebook, but they've honored my wish to keep those interactions separate from anything involving me. I've returned to my old job, and there's someone new, an old acquaintance, a teacher who's been through her own divorce. With my daughters grown and her son nearly off to college, we're talking about the possibility of her moving in. Marriage hasn't really come up, but we've committed to being there for each other. Strangely enough, my intimate life is the best it's ever been. She's on birth control, and we're still cautious. I'm not about to take risks. I've learned that much. Luna, my ex-wife, always seemed to understand that part of me. The girls keep in touch, but they've made it clear. Their father won't allow my name into any conversation, nor will he share anything about his own life. It's as if our 2 decades together never existed. I was loyal. I loved him. I worked hard to be both a good mother and a supportive partner. I pulled my weight financially and emotionally. My paychecks went toward the mortgage, the cars, the school expenses, everything. So I didn't feel wrong for draining what remained in our accounts after he cracked. And really, what was there left to preserve? At least he'd had the foresight to pay ahead for the girls' college. That was smart, even commendable. How could I argue with that? But I've never been someone who chases money. What I can't stop asking myself is, who was I, truly? After 20-plus years of standing by him, did I deserve the storm that came crashing down because of 3 reckless months? They weren't cruel months. There was no betrayal of the heart, just bad decisions, plain and simple. Ryan was never some grand romantic prize. What made the affair feel exhilarating was the sheer recklessness of it. That feeling vanished the moment reality hit. Suddenly Ryan meant nothing. Then he had the gall to claim I owed him, that I'd destroyed his marriage. He wanted to move in. Imagine that. Why did I flee the city? Because I became the woman everyone whispered about, the cheater, the liar. And there was hard evidence. I felt exposed, like anyone could see straight through me. I didn't trust Daniel not to leak the video, to shame me even further. Practically overnight, he became Dr. Alcott again, calm, poised, unreadable. I left to get some clarity, to wait for the dust to settle. Deep down, I hoped Daniel might soften, that there was a chance, however small, for reconciliation. Now, I live somewhere in between the past and the future. My work is stable. I used to be in finance, explaining to frustrated clients why insurance hadn't covered what they thought it should. These days, I do something similar at a hospital, helping patients navigate their medical bills, explaining the confusing fine print of their coverage. Mr. Archer, my old boss, didn't sugarcoat things when he gave a reference. He was honest about my mistakes, but also about my strengths. My new supervisor took a risk in hiring me, and made it clear that even a hint of unprofessional behavior would end it all. I live in a modest apartment now. I don't need much. My social life is nearly non-existent. I spend too much time on an online forum for women left behind after infidelity. Some of their stories make mine seem almost mild. But I haven't let myself go. I still look good. I still carry myself well. Daniel knows I was a good partner, a good mom. Can he really stomach the idea of diving into the chaotic world of dating at his age just to replace what we had? I think I'll wait. Maybe the girls will warm up to the idea of nudging him back toward me. He's in the process of finalizing the divorce. Me? I'm quietly hoping there's still a path back. I replay the good times often. A song, a smell, an old picture. It's all it takes to send me back. The pain it brings is hard to describe. I cry more than I'd ever admit out loud, and I can't believe Daniel doesn't feel that too, especially when he's with our daughters. How many of those memories include me? He must miss me, even if he doesn't want to. We were a part of each other's lives for too long to just erase that. Daniel, if even the smallest part of you still holds love for me, please hear this. If there's any piece of you that remembers who I was to you, who we were together, then I am begging. Give us another chance. I won't make the same mistake again. I was foolish to risk 20 years of shared life for something so shallow. I just hope you won't be equally foolish by refusing to see that one wrong turn doesn't mean we can't still find our way back. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.